Good morning, Clark Brown here with the Alliance and with Restoration Advisors. Going to make a real quick video today just to get right to the point. I want you to please take time and watch this video, understand it, save it, use it in the future if you want to. It's merely my interpretation. The subject is the case where a contractor that's dealing with an insurance company, with an adjuster, is being told or challenged by the insurance company that the use of Xactimate is industry standard pricing and it should be used. I want to show you some documentation and where I think that they probably understand and believe that to be true, but it's not. And I want to give you a little bit of ammunition so you can fight this in the future. So I'm going to silence my phone here and we'll just get started real quick. I'm going to do a screen share. Okay, so my client today received an email back and forth with an insurance company. This is on a commercial loss, not large. They're just a typical challenging by a few $1,000s, saying, I agree with your scope, but your rate is too expensive. We're gonna smash that right now. So this is the document that this adjuster sent to my client, the contractor. And this is, you'll see here, 2018 pricing research methodology from Xactware. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in here. Almost screen share, I can't zoom in. Okay, so if you're reading here where I highlighted, this is the part where the adjuster is pointing out. This paper examines the history and makeup of Xactimate's pricing research and methodology, automated and manual procedures, and provides detail on processes that have been put in place to ensure that this data continues to be the industry standard. This paper focuses on structural pricing and methodology, information regarding research or property management, and please review the Xactware, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's the only section that this adjuster, claims management professional, not sure if this person is a real adjuster or if they're just a desk adjuster. So this is the only part of this that they're addressing. So I'm going to use this same white paper to dig into this topic. And I want you to use the same thing. I'll make this available to anyone that emails me. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna put my email address right here. It's gonna be Clark. Oh, that's super small. It's gonna be Clark at restorationadvisors.com. I'm going to also, if you want this document or anything that I'm showing you today, I'll send it to you. But you can look this up online. Just Google Xactware pricing research methodology. It's a PDF. You'll find it. You can download it. Boom, boom, boom. This is all very, very common knowledge. And it's not our fault that the insurance company does not know how to use this. It's either intentional or it's unintentional. I don't know which it is, but you cannot spend your time playing games with these people anymore. I can't express enough how you do not get to charge enough to deal with these people. They do this for a living, and this is all they have to do because their efforts will lower the cost of your invoice. It's not going up, it's only going to go down. So stop wasting your time on it. I'm really, really serious about that. Down here, this is not too much. I did want to highlight this part. Xactware's pricing services team follows the same multi-tiered approach, blah, 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 with more than 50,000 industry suppliers, contractors, and services across the continent. In addition, Xactware's recent transactions in the form of completed repair and remodeling estimates that have been submitted from live jobs in each market. Basically, I don't know many people that actually have said they've ever gotten a call from feedback from Xactware. I want you to know, and I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next slide. What they're talking about is their algorithm and their feedback. Their feedback through providing and uploading the estimates and invoices, or not invoices. Xactimate does not create invoices. It creates estimates. This is another paper, and this is can be found. I can send this to you, but I'm going to show you here parties that uploaded these estimates to Exact Analysis in 2016. Now, I know this is a little bit outdated, but I have no data to inspire me to believe that this is any different. What this means here is this pie chart shows the percentages in a pie graph of who and what parties uploaded their estimates. If you will see here, staff adjusters were 63%, independent adjusters were 26%, mitigation providers and contractors were 5 and 5, 10%. I think that contractors, maybe restoration, mitigation providers are fire, water, mitigation, emergency services. 5% of the 100% was provided from mitigation providers. What does that mean? That means that adjusters are providing the feedback, and you and I both can agree that they're not changing their prices. They are downloading what's in Xactimate right now, and this is what they push up. So what they're reporting is the same exact rates that have been current, and you can look this up if you use Xactimate. Pull the historical data on, say, 20 or 30 of your most common line items. You're going to see in 10 years, you're going to see a flat line. In very, very few cases are you going to see any increase, and in some, you're surprisingly going to find a decrease in the prices from what we paid 10 years ago or charged. And we can all agree that rates have gone up for labor and materials and the cost of living, right? So it's not even keeping up with inflation. You can pull your own data from the Department of Labor in your area and identify what the inflation rates have been. That is easily attainable information. Therefore, you raise your prices that way. So what I've showed you was in 2016, again, no information, I have no reason to believe that this has actually changed because very few people upload every single one of their estimates. And if they do, if you do upload, if you decide to start uploading and trying to make an impact on the feedback, make sure that your price is higher and you've modified your price list, which you're allowed to do. You're actually encouraged to do in Xactware. Don't just feed the same number. You're not doing anything. You're telling them that I agree with this price and this is what it should be, which is why we're in a situation we're in. So back to the methodology. There we go. The 50,000 contractors or industry suppliers, contractors, and servicers across the continent. I don't know who that is. I'm sure they're not lying. I'm sure there is. But that means that 50,000 people are telling them, this is what I charge with Xactimate. And the reason they're telling them I don't charge more is because the insurance companies don't want to pay me for more, for me to have the least friction, for me to have to not fight the big bad carriers. I choose to be less profitable instead of fighting, and I don't modify my pricing. Okay. And then there's one other elephant in the room. Let's talk about vendor programs. You've got contractors that do work with the insurance companies on Contractor Connection, Nexus, Sedgwick. They're not allowed to change their rates. They're forced to use those pricing. So they're contributing. This is why TPAs and programs are instrumentally and directed to be dangerous to our industry. Go through here. Xactware Systems review nearly 20,000 market surveys of randomly selected contractors, suppliers, and service providers. I challenge each one of you, have you been called or contacted by Xactware before to be interviewed or to do a survey? Maybe that I've heard, I don't use Xactimate, but I'm doing this video, but I'm not a subscriber to Xactimate, never have been, never will be. But I will tell you that people tell me that the price of goods are actually pretty accurate, that they do a really good job of contacting all of the materials providers or raw materials providers, and they get a good, they keep up with that pretty well. We're talking more labor, and then of course ratio defaults. In addition, more than 40,000 estimates are returned to Xactware every month, either from feedback specifically sent by a user or by utilizing Xactware's assignment network. We've already talked about that. We talked about the 400,000 estimates are probably from program vendors. It is at least 95% other parties and not contractors. So that explains why that is. Okay, so we've talked about that. I want to come back to this market conditions. When this is, you can read this. This is talking about how they do it. Market conditions. What that means is every market's different. They get that. What about hurricanes? What about tornadoes? What about the storms and the surges and the cat events? Xactware cannot act and react fast enough with its feedback to capture what happened in Lake Charles. There'll be a lag effect. You're writing Xactimates for work that you did, and then 2 months from now, their pricing may reflect some variance, but it doesn't. So that's why you have to use this tool, Xactware, as just that. It is a tool. It's like Excel. You have to modify it. So in closing, and this is what I told my client, take all of this, do what they want to. First off, don't argue with the insurance companies. Just tell them, get your customers to have to prove this. The Xactware performs a random supply sample survey. I don't know how that works or if that's actually true, but this is important. Summary. This is the honey hole right here. And I'm going to read it. Xactware recognizes that individual costs required to repair or rebuild the structure can vary between structures due to difference in sizes, complexity, accessibility, and location. Additionally, prices charged by contractors and suppliers vary based on their company's side, overhead. Your overhead is going to be different based on the company you have. Do you do training? Do you have the right insurance? Do you market? Do you keep your trucks running or not? Right? Do you use the best equipment? Do you reinvest in your company? That's overhead, and that has to be passed along in your pricing and or perceived quality of work and level of service. If I do better than everybody else in my market, why on God's green earth would I charge the same thing as Chuck in the truck? Doesn't make sense, right? In the end, the correct price, this is it. In the end, the correct price for any job is based upon an agreement between the purchaser, the insured, and the provider, me, the contractor. The price which the purchaser is willing to pay and the provider is willing to work. That's all you need to know. It's between the buyer and the seller of any contract. You should be using a contract, by the way. You should be putting together a number with a not to exceed, if you will, or a budgeted number for what you see on your first assessment, and then supplement if you must, a change order, if you will. So I'm telling you this because I don't want you to spend any more time, your valuable, precious time, which is your commodity, on arguing with this futile point. Nothing's changed. These are the facts. This is how Xactware has positioned itself so that it would not be in trouble with the Federal Trade Commission for collusion. They cannot price fix. The insurance company, I say this all the time, if they want to force you or anyone else, if they tell the customer we're only going to pay what Xactimate says, that had better be in the policy language. There had better be decipherable text that says we will be able to dictate the price of the risk and the exposure that we have. It doesn't exist. That's why this whole system works and the appraisals happen and things like that. So I hope you use this information. Again, my email, and I'll put it on the screen here, it's clark@restorationadvisors.com. Email me. I'll drop you an email back and give you this documentation. But don't give them the energy anymore. Don't fight with them. Take care.